Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce, you may have heard of him now, the IBF World Heavyweight Champion, Dynamite Dan. Where's Don? Okay. Questions? Let's go. Yeah, pull that one over there, you got none.
Yeah, I feel great. You know, did what we need to do, did what we came to do, and you know, we got the job done. You know, I'm just over the moon, and you know, I thank God, I thank my family, thank my father for getting me through this and getting me to this point, and I'm just glad that I've done it. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Tell him. Yeah. Yeah.
From the first round, you look very, very strong, focused. Is that what you worked on for your early attack?
No, it wasn't going to be denied tonight, you know, by any means necessary. Yeah.
Daniel, how was it for you to silence the doubters
Close that door.
Yeah, yeah. They were all saying I was going to get knocked out, and we all saw we got knocked out, and you know, I done the business, and I'm just, you know, I was glad I proved everyone wrong. But this is the start of my journey. This is the start for me.
Do you think it that much sweeter to get in front of Fury and Usyk as well, because those guys are now eyeing up you as their next opponent?
Yeah, they're my targets now. They, you know, these are. I want to get my rematch and, you know, put the wrong right, and you know, God bless, and just come through it.
There is a rematch clause.
Congratulations on the win.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me a bit about your defence? That was something that everybody was questioning. You took those 1-2s off Hearn. How is he going to take that off Anthony Joshua? You went in there and you stood your ground. Talk to us about that.
Yeah.
Where that you didn't count.
Yeah, they're all doubting me, but you know, the Lord had my back tonight, and you know, my family around me, so I wasn't going to be denied. He could have thrown everything at me. I would have come through it, and you know, that's all I have to say.
I endorse that.
Mic drop.
How do you reflect on your growth from defeat to Usyk until now? I mean, selling out Wembley Stadium. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you reflect on your journey from that defeat to Usyk?
4 fights in a year.
Yeah, 4 fights. It was just a growing process for me, a growing journey. To me, tonight didn't even. It felt almost like a dream tonight in the ring, and I just had to seize the moment. So, you know, I thank my dad. I thank my, you know, God and my whole family for being around me and just keeping me grounded and, you know, giving me this opportunity. And I took it with both hands tonight.
Daniel, can you talk us through your journey, because you've won here in the capital, it's very much a London story. You're a Greenwich boy.
Yeah.
All of those amateur gyms you would have gone to get to this moment, to take on AJ in front of the world and to defend your belt.
Yeah, it's almost like a dream. It's almost like a dream, but yeah, it would just,
It's a dream come true.
yeah.
Daniel, every midweek when we talked to you, we asked you why you were so calm, and you said it's the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Tonight,
Yeah.
why were you so calm? What did you do in your game plan with
Yeah, I'm calm anyway. Cool, calm, collective. Yeah.
Many years ago, you
That's
said
it.
this man's going to be a problem for the heavyweight division. He just beat the former fighter.
Sorry, say it again.
Many years ago, you said that Daniel's going to be a big problem for the heavyweight division. He's just beat the former 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, a man who sold out Wembley on more than one occasion. What do you do next with him, considering the fact that you also look after another top heavyweight, Tyson Fury, and of course he's got a rematch coming up with Alexander Usyk? What's the next option for Daniel?
Well, we'll see what happens on the 21st of December in Riyadh. Let's see what the outcome of that fight. Tyson, I believe, will win it. But the fight, I would love to see Daniel lace him up against Usyk again, because I believe that he should have won that fight, and I still believe it wasn't a low blow. And he's shown what he's all about.
Matt Lennon for Boxing Social. Daniel, you've been on one hell of a ride. It's been noted, everyone's questions. What was that turning point for you after the Usyk? Was there a specific moment in camp where you just went, you know what, I know what's going to happen here, and still had confidence to go on and do what you've done tonight and create history?
We had chats, didn't we, after that fight?
Go on, this time.
We talked after the fight. We had a talk, and I still say it now. It's a fight that he could have won. I genuinely believe that. I'm not going to go along. I argue again about the low blow. We're living the moment now. In the moment we're in now, this man just showed what he's all about. He went in as an underdog, according to a lot of people, big underdog. Most people had written him off. Even in this fight, had written him off, and I felt from day one that this was a winnable fight for him, and he went out and with a game plan of putting him on the back foot. And as I said at the time, whoever goes on the back foot in this fight, they're going to get beat. And he did that, and stamped his authority on the fight from the first round. And it was an exciting fight, and I think it was as a heavyweight fight. It was a shootout at the end because Daniel got clipped. You know, you've got to take your hat off to AJ. He came back and he threw a big punch and caught him. But it became a shootout, and he done him with a counter. And it was our Hagler-Hearns moment. It was so exciting. And as I said, you go in there, and you know, because he's the nation's favourite, they cheered him, cheered AJ going in. But I said they'll cheer him when he comes out, Daniel with a belt. And that's exactly what the crowd did.
Daniel, you said
see
before...
it. They know what he is.
Sorry, Frank. Daniel, you said before the fight that you needed to win tonight to prove to everyone you were a legitimate and to feel like a legitimate world champion. So has that sunk in that you are now a world champion, and how does it feel?
Yeah, definitely. It does. It feels great. I feel like the champ. And, you know, I want to keep this belt, just keep this train running. It's great.
Do you still dream of next year perhaps having a shot at undisputed?
For sure, yeah. Right that wrong and get back and, you know, just fulfill my full potential now.
Frank, Riyadh season has hosting a huge number of fights, a huge historical fight. One of them it was today. What do you think about it?
What do I think about
Riyadh season, yes.
This fight, the Riyadh season,
yes.
I've got to be honest, you know, for all of us, everybody involved in boxing and sport, it's been brilliant. It's not even a year, is it? You know, the first one was last October, which was Tyson, and it's just gone from strength to strength. It's changed the whole dynamic of boxing. It's enabled us to make some fights that we'd never been able to make, and undercards, you know, phenomenal undercards that you know everybody's enjoyed. And the proof is in the pudding is tonight. And Riyadh season came to London. All this week we've had a great build-up for the fight in iconic London buildings and attractions and sites. It's just been fantastic, and I generally feel that. And I read some of the negative stuff a couple of the leading writers wrote about this, and I find it amazing. Someone always wants to kick it. That, you know, this is for our sport. It's just been absolutely brilliant.
Daniel, has it sunk in yet? And what does the future look like for you?
Yeah, it's sunk in. I knew it was my night tonight. You know, my dad and everyone behind me pushing me on, and it was my night tonight. I wasn't going to be denied. And still. Yeah.
Nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Sorry, you've been involved for boxing for a long time. Just talk to me. That's one of the best knockouts I've ever seen. One of the best finishes.
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, you know, no one's done that to AJ like that, have they? Nobody has done it. And
Daniel.
This man's got phenomenal power in both hands. He's got a great chin himself, because AJ caught him with a couple of good shots, a really good. Was it right hand he caught you with? I think it was. And he caught you with a good uppercut.
Yeah.
He caught him with some great shot, and he took him. He's got a good chin, a very good chin, and he gritted his teeth and came through it and done him with a counter. So for me, it's been. I like to be. You know, we started this journey together. The team, you know, with his dad, his family, and it's coming to fruition. You know, Don's done a fabulous job as his trainer, as his lead trainer. I mean, I take my hat off to him what he's accomplished, and he deserves every moment of it. It's just been a great ride, and it's going to get better and better because there's some brilliant fights to be made. And he's a young man. He's a young man. Well, you're 27 now, and that's young for a heavyweight, 27 years of age. And you look at the guys that are there now. There's some brilliant fights to be made. Some brilliant fights.
Daniel, Gunman Boxing. You laid him out like a picnic blanket. Did you know that from your early spars and your infamous spars with Joshua that you were going to be the power puncher in this fight?
I just knew tonight that this was my moment. I wasn't going to be denied. And, you know, I thank the whole team. I thank my whole family for getting me through this and keeping me mentally strong and, you know, ready on it. And, you know,
with you all the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, could you mind if we just do 3 more questions, because he wants to get off and I can see all the family get away.
Frank, Antoine on ITV News. Frank, I know you're a historian of boxing. Where will this particular fight weigh up in the annals of time?
Where will this fight go? 96,000 people at Wembley. Go and ask them what their memory is going to be of this. It was a fabulous, fabulous fight, and I do feel it was our heavyweight version of Hagler Hearns, the way, especially towards at the end when they were both catching each other. It was just unbelievable. They took some big shots in there before it all ended. And I thought, and I'll tell you something, it weren't just about the punches. Daniel's jab is superb. He has a superb jab, and that was the key to winning this fight, by putting him on the back foot with that jab, and that's what he set out to do, and that's what he did.
And Frank, you said you've been there at the start of Daniel's journey across the small arenas to the big shows to the 96,000 at Wembley. Just how proud are you of his journey and what he achieved tonight?
I'm extremely proud of him because I believed in him. I believed him in, you know, and when you had some people, some of the things they said, especially after the fight he had with Joe Joyce, when he had 4 fractures of his eye socket and was told that he had gone on, the retina would have come apart, and that we wouldn't be here tonight. So it's very easy for some people on the safe side of the ropes to say what they say, but for me, he showed his character certainly in his last 3 fights. He's had to grit his teeth like you cannot believe against. He's had, was it 3 undefeated fighters and AJ, the nation's favourite, and going in and all these fights, the last 4 fights. 4 fights in 4 years, an underdog according to the press and according to the bookmakers in every single fight. He was underdog in all of them.
Daniel, first of all, congratulations. Frank said there about the fact that you were clipped a few times by AJ. What did you make of his power and how was it compared to what you were anticipating?
Yeah, you know what, you couldn't keep me down. He was going to have to nail me to that canvas. I was just unstoppable tonight, and you know, it was a good fight in there, and I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole moment, winning and coming through that, and you know, fulfilling my potential tonight anyway. So, yeah, on we go.
And we know that you're close to your dad, and we saw a video go out already of you two embracing in the changing room afterwards. What did he say to you in that moment?
You know what? He's just proud of me, and just, you know, proud of the whole team effort. My dad especially pushing me and keeping me on the right track.
As you talk sports, Daniel, congratulations. And we all know early on in your career you got some unfair critics about, you know, not being able to handle it when the going gets tough. We know you've dispelled those rumours, and when the going gets tough, you get going. Do you think that was ever a thing, and has it been something that you've had to work on, or was it all a myth all along and you've always had that in you?
No, tonight I became Daniel in the lines then, and I had to come through that. I was unstoppable tonight, and yeah, I was on a roll, and you know, the Lord was with me, and I just come through it.
Dynamite Dan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
I'll tell you when you touch that photograph.
You know what I want to say? Congratulations. It must be one of the sweetest moments in your whole career. You never lost faith. Did you?
He's right.
And then saved his career.
He's a young man, and I can see he was mentally, he needed to mature, and he matured, and he's done what it's all about.
I mean, where does that rank amongst the stuff that you've achieved in the game? Do you think ages will be on forever?
Where does it rank? It's just brilliant. I mean, it's right up there. I mean, 96,000 people, it doesn't get no better than that. It's top of the job. He's done what he had to do, and he's done it how I felt he would do it. You know, he would go out and put the other guy on the back. I said, whoever goes on the back foot in that fight, they're going to lose. And that's what he did. With that great jab that he's got, he put him on the back foot.
What were you thinking in the 5th round when he did get hurt?
Well, that's when I said it could be our sort of Hearn's moment, and it was, wasn't it? I mean, he got caught with a couple of them. He got caught with a good uppercut, and he caught him with that big shot.
Good evening. So I am going to stay with you guys for 5 minutes or so. My advice to AJ is to not do a press conference. He wants to do a press conference. He wants to speak to you guys. So he's going to come in. He's going to talk. I'm not going to let him sit here for ages taking questions, but he's going to talk to everybody and probably go on too long. And then I'm going to kick him out. And then Ben Davison's also going to come in for your guys' questions as well. So if you want any questions with me, fire away. He'll be here in a couple of minutes.
Eddie, during these last few years, talk about defending Anthony Joshua, the world, fourth world, and getting to a third world title. It's just competing for identity. What is the plan now with Anthony Joshua?
Well, probably get a good kip tonight, or try. It's a difficult defeat, but, you know, at this point you have to try and take any positives you can, and it's difficult because the start was disastrous, and the only positives I can take is the unbelievable heart and guts and nuts that he showed to never give up. And I said in the change room, I said, you know, the amount of times I've heard over the years a fighter say, you know, I will rather get knocked out than try and survive or lose on points. I will go out on my shield. He went out on his shield. Even when he didn't have his legs, he was trying to land the right hand and he was trying to find a way back in the fight. And remarkably, as bad as he performed tonight, there was many mistakes that he made, he still could have won the fight. You know, 4th round he hurt Dubois, 5th round Dubois' legs buckled, and at that point I think this is going to be one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen. But walked on to a crushing right hand, and unfortunately there was no getting up from the last one.
Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, we have a contracted fight with Riyadh season that could include the Daniel Dubois rematch. I think we need time. You know, I mean, I don't think he could have boxed much worse tonight, but you have to give Dubois brilliant, you know, plenty of credit. He was brilliant tonight. He put the pressure on. We knew that he'd be dangerous in the early part of the fight, and the start couldn't have been worse, really. AJ will believe that he can box much better and beat him, but Dubois is going to be full of confidence. And we have to look what happens on December 21st. If Tyson Fury wins or if Tyson Fury loses. But no immediate rush. But I know what AJ's like, and he would love to have another crack at him.
Eddie,
Yeah, we knew Dubois, he returns all the time when you jab, so that was something that we was looking to capitalise on. For whatever reason, you know, things didn't get going as we'd like to in the early part of the fight. That was just one of the things that we was looking to pick up on. Obviously, there was a few other things as well, but just didn't manage to get the things that we was looking to get going early. And then a couple of things that we was looking on to capitalise on, like Eddie said at the end, there was a couple of very, very, very short spells of it, and one of those was when he managed to land that right hand, and then there was a couple of things we wanted to do to follow up moments like that, and just didn't apply it the way we'd prepared to, unfortunately. But by that point, a lot had gone on, you know, he's not thinking straight. So, yeah, difficult, very difficult pill to swallow.
Eddie,
No, I was asking for something from him, and he sort of said, like, I'm okay, let me know he's okay, actually talking in there. And then he come back before the last round and just said to me, these are the moments that we live for, you know, and talked about rolling the dice, and that's what he done. And like Eddie said, you know, a lot of people talk about when they're having an off night, and that was an off night, and, you know, I'd just like to say that me and my team have received a hell of a lot of credit for good performances that he's had. So it's important that we take responsibility for the bad performance as well. So we're willing to do that. But he spoke about rolling dice, and like I said, a lot of people talk about when things aren't going well, I'll go out on my shield But he did that tonight, and a lot of people talk about, oh, is he hesitant to let his hands go? He showed he's not. He let his hands go. Unfortunately, he come off with a short straw tonight. But, yeah, obviously we're very, very gutted.
Eddie, another positive 96,000 at Wembley Stadium. Sorry, Eddie. One positive from the fight, I mean, 96,000 at Wembley Stadium tonight. A lot of people would argue without Anthony Joshua, considerable amount of stadium fights wouldn't be filled the way they were. I mean, how do you reflect on kind of, I mean, the massive crowd in there to support Anthony Joshua tonight?
It was incredible, and you know, I think Daniel Dubois deserves a lot of credit as well. You know, I don't think he was disrespected as the champion, but he was the clear B-side in the fight, and he come out as a star tonight as well. You know, I think he's a handful. You know, he's a good young man, and he's come back from a lot as well. You know, people have written AJ off before in the past. We all wrote Daniel Dubois off, me included. You know, and actually he showed again tonight. Took some good shots tonight. You know, and it was only really when the 4th and 5th round come that I was thinking, actually, we could start breaking him down here. But by then, like Ben said, you know, because of the start, it's so difficult without a clear head to actually apply the things that he's been working on. And even then, you know, my dad messaged me. He said, wow, he said, made so many basic errors and still could have won the fight. You know, and that's a positive to take out of it. That I said to him, you've got to be proud you even found a way back into the fight. Because after the second round, for me, the fight's done. It's over. And, you know, people always question people's heart. You know, even the last knockout, he's scrambling to get up. He couldn't have tried another inch. And that's all you can give to people, you know. And I think when you do that, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I might not have been good enough tonight, but I've tried my nuts off and I gave everything. And I spoke to him last night and he said to me, I'm ready to go to the trenches tomorrow night. He went all the way in the trenches. You know, people talk about taking a knee, spitting a gum shield out. I mean, listen, when Daniel Dubois hit him in the nuts in the 3rd or 4th round, I'm screaming at AJ to take the full 5 minutes. Like, that's actually a little bit of inexperience. Like, at that point, when he couldn't stand up, he's been hit full-blown in the conkers, right? All he's got to do to the ref is just, you know, that's not him. He just went to ref, I'm fine, come on, let's go. And I'm like, no, what are you doing? And then it happened again. Because he just came to fight tonight. And, you know, when you talk about entertainment, maybe vulnerability, but also a huge puncher that's prepared to let his hands go. It was a hell of a fight. You know, and like I said, as gutted as we are, Daniel deserves a lot of credit because tonight was his crowning night. Not being elevated to interim champion. Tonight was the night that I believe he become a real world champion. And, you know, he's got a big future ahead of him as well.
Eddie, obviously, AJ is going to be disappointed. He was excited to be back at Wembley in front of 96,000 people. But we'll all agree he showed so much heart tonight. How much admiration do you have for him for doing that?
Always, because I think when you... It's not just the admiration of being in the ring, it's the admiration of how he lives his life, how consistent he is working with Ben, and the achievements that he's had in his career, the money that he's made, and he still wants it more than ever. And, you know, I think, you know, unless there's something Ben's not telling me or AJ's not telling me, which I know there isn't, camp was good. You know, like, no excuses, well prepared, nice and confident, looked unbelievable in the changing room. I mean, punching so hard, but just had a disastrous start. And unfortunately, against a big, strong puncher, it's hard to recover. And, you know, he nearly did. But the admiration is not just about what he did tonight. He went to deeper depths tonight than I thought he would or could, in all honesty. Like, and that's total respect for him, because it's not just hanging on. It's standing there and letting your hands go when your legs are gone. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a difference. Someone comes in and they lose every round, they go 12 rounds, and it's a little bit of a celebration. Oh, yeah, I lost on... He was like, he was either going to get knocked out or he was going to flatten Daniel Dubois. And unfortunately, it was the first one.
Eddie,
there was a bit of traffic and he did turn up slightly later than we would have planned, but being honest, you know, he was very well prepared. You know, we knew Daniel was going to start fast. There was nothing that shocked us in there. Oh, we didn't expect him to do that. Just whatever reason got off to a bad start. And you know, it's very early. Coming off the back of the fight, we'll go back. We'll review what we could have done better, of course, and go from there.
Eddie.
Yeah.
When it comes to Anthony Joshua, across social media, some people will look at him 34, going to be 35. There'll be talks of, is this the time to retire? What will you say to AJ in terms of his future?
Well, I mean, you know, everyone's very fickle, aren't they? Yesterday, he's in the form of his life, never looked better. Wow, this is unbelievable, this new resurgence. As a bad start, you know, gets dropped, tries to recover his feet and just goes to war, basically, with no legs, and finds a way back into the fight and then walks onto one. So it's heavyweight boxing, and that's the dangers of this fight. We said before, you know, Frank was talking about Hagler Hearns. I mean, you know, it takes a lot of beating that kind of fight, but it was a thriller. And, you know, we just felt that maybe the tide was about to change, but you have to give Daniel credit. I'm going to pass the mic to AJ. I've explained you wanted to come and do this. I told you not to, but you always do it. We're not going to take questions, but you wanted to say a few words.
Firstly, always walk with your head high. We took a shot at success and we came up short, unfortunately. We rolled the dice, man, for the third time. There's 13 world title fights. Not everyone's been successful, but everyone's been fun and entertaining. We're trying to create history for British boxing, and I think we're doing that. And also, I appreciate all the press, media. The fans aren't here, but I thank them through you guys. I'm sure you guys will let them know that we're appreciating their support. And probably you're asking, do I still want to continue fighting? Of course I want to continue fighting. That's what I said is, we took a shot at success and we came up short. And what does that mean now? We're going to run away. We're going to live to fight another day. And that's what I'm a warrior. And also, before I finish, we have to give credit to our opponent as well, Daniel. Even though when I sign up to fight opponents, I don't really like him in my head anymore. But now it's done. I take my hat off to him and say, well done, Tim and his team. And also thank you to my team as well for the way they prepared me. There was a few mistakes in there, but that's the name of the game. Fine margins can cost you at the top level. So thank you.
Right.
Is that all good? That all good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Thank you guys again. Much appreciated. God bless.
Right. I knew he'd want to stay. I told you. Thanks, AJ. Guys, carry on if you...
Ben, question to you. If there is a rematch, if you're in his corner for said rematch, what do you think AJ needs to do to try and win back that belt or just beat Daniel?
Like I say, we'll have to go back and review it because he knows what he needs to do. There was nothing that Daniel done that shocked us. That we was expecting him to do those things. Preparation did go well. We prepared well. So we'll have to go back and look at that, you know. Of course, now we have that fight to look at. Of course, I already know there's a couple of things, adjustments that could. When situations occur, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So perhaps some of the ways that we was looking to skin that cat, maybe there's some better options of how to try and tackle those scenarios and situations. So, yeah, of course, you know, we'll be straight at looking at and reviewing that and looking at what we can do better to help AJ be better.
Do you still think it's a winnable fight?
Yeah, of course. Like Eddie, look, he got off to a shocking start and still not nearly won the fight, but you know, we're still in the fight after such a bad start. And I'm just very, very proud of what he showed in there after such a bad start against such a young, strong, hungry fighter like Daniel Dubois. A terrible situation to be in. I'm not saying a lot of fighters would quit in a sense of asked to be pulled out, but a lot of fighters wouldn't keep trying to fight the way that AJ did. So I'm just really proud of him for that.
Ben, what were you saying to him in between the last couple of rounds? I know it would have all been happening so fast. Was there ever a time in your mind when it came across that he might actually be too tough for his own good and you would have to intervene at any stage there?
Yeah, of course you have to keep that in mind when a fight's going like that. So it's something that you have to keep in your mind and be aware of. Going into the last round, like I already explained, he come back to the corner. He said, "These are the moments we live for, tough moments," and spoke about rolling the dice. He rolled the dice and hurt Daniel, but was just a little bit reckless in terms of his application right in the final moments. But you know, there was issues that occurred way before that situation, so that wasn't the main issue. But it's just obviously it was the final issue.
Eddie, so you've been here before with Anthony, you know, building him back up after defeats, but just it's the manner of the defeat tonight. That's the first time I think we've seen him, like, you know, really hurt at the end of a fight. But would that concern you going forward?
I think to be honest with you, it's probably the only time in his whole career I've seen him really hurt. So it's not bad, having won 2 World Heavyweight Championships, 13 World Championship fights, and that's the only time he's really been hurt to a point where he couldn't get up. Do you know what I mean? Heavyweights get knocked out all the time, and you never want to see a heavyweight get knocked out, but it is the first time in his career he's been properly hurt. So you never want to see it, and you never want to carry on too long, but at the same time, AJ is a heavyweight that doesn't actually have many miles on the clock, in all honesty. And, you know, the moment that Ben comes to me and says, just doesn't look the same fighter anymore. And by the way, AJ is the one that will call that shot before anyone. You know, fighters sometimes need saving from themselves. AJ's a smart guy. He's got a big team of people around him. We all know that we've seen the best AJ over the last year. So, you know, it's difficult to say just because he got chinned tonight, well, that's it, you know. But, of course, he's in the closing chapters of his career. There's no doubt about that. And now, obviously, you know, we have another fight with Riyadh Season and Turki Al-Sheikh. And Daniel Dubois is part of that plan. But so too could be Tyson Fury or another heavyweight. So, look, I think that 2025, you know, is going to be an interesting year for Anthony Joshua, one way or the other. But he will definitely be back. And whether it's against Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury, whoever, you're going to be entertained because, you know, that was incredibly entertaining. Albeit you don't want to see your fighter get beat like that. But our interests are to make sure that he leaves this sport with legacy, with a huge amount of money in the bank, but also with his health intact. And, you know, if you start getting knocked out like that, you certainly have to look at it. But really the first time in his career when he hasn't been able to get off the deck. And there's been many times he's been down and never not tried to get up. But that one was just a shot. You know, when you try and land an uppercut and you get caught trading by a huge right hand, it doesn't matter who you are, you're getting knocked out. Unfortunately, it happened with a lot of damage on the clock. And that's perhaps why it ended the way it did.
Yeah, well, you go into a fight with knowing the tendencies of the opponent through previous fights of his, and then during the course of the fight, certain tendencies might stand out more. For example, when you do this, he's often doing that. This is how you deal with that situation. So we're trying to, but when you get off to a bad start like that, you know, at the same time we was trying to, situations were occurring that we didn't want to happen. So we're trying to deal with those situations. This is the best way to deal with that. And then, you know, this is the best way to deal with that situation in a safety first manner. And then these are situations where, you know, you might take a risk on this. This situation keeps happening. You're going to have to be ballsy in this situation. And he did that. And there was a couple of shots that he landed when he did do those things and settled things down or hurt Daniel. And then the application after that wasn't quite what we was looking for. So, but this is heavyweight boxing, you know. These things happen. Doesn't mean that it's okay. Doesn't mean that it's fine. Doesn't mean that we're not going to go back and say, look, you know, we need to do this better, or this is a situation that we need to look at and review. But you know, we're well aware, and he went out on his shield, and that's all you can ask for.
Ben, I spoke to Usyk, and he basically, he basically said AJ was in the pocket for too long and his right hand was too low and he was leaning back rather than taking a step back. He said that was the reason why he kept taking the right hands.
Yeah, his feet were lagging a little bit. He wasn't as sharp on his feet. You know, that was something that we spoke about. We wanted him to defend with his feet first in situations when Daniel was rushing in, or drop and tie up. We didn't want him to sit there, catch him for too long. No, Daniel's heavy-handed, not a smart approach. And of course, didn't want him getting caught, not being ready and unaware. And those things unfortunately happened.
Eddie, AJ has had setbacks before that he's overcome. Do you see this one being any different? How do you make sure that he gets through this?
I mean, because I know he'll be consistent, you know, and I think the key now is to make sure that when he comes back physically, he's fine. I mean, I don't see it being a fight that ends his career. But as I said, he's in the final chapter or chapters of the career, and that was a big blow because we fancied winning tonight and then fighting the winner of Fury against Usyk, and we may end up fighting the loser of that fight, maybe if it's Tyson Fury. But you know, you got the Dubois rematch, you got other fights out there, but I think it's really about returning to the gym and having time off and seeing how you come back with Ben. You know, I mean, a lot depends on how you're performing in the gym, and like I say, we've been performing really well in the gym, so no excuses. Like, we can't sit here and say, oh yeah, we didn't feel great in the gym or we didn't look good. We did, and we fancied it tonight, but we were beaten by the better man.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, look, again, we're a team, so we discuss all of this together. The rebuild, you know, at this stage, I mean, we've rebuilt. We've had 4 good wins. The last 2 look really good. And we got beat tonight. So do we want to go and rebuild with another 2 or 3 fights? I don't think so. But we definitely have to make the right steps. It's a very important decision, the next one, because it could be the end of the road, the next one. You know, and you want to make sure that you're in the right fight at the right time with the right preparation. And if that involves a rebuild fight, maybe we'll look at it. But I don't feel like at this stage in his career he's going to want to go through a training camp for a small fight. He wants to be in the big fights. And I think when he reflects tonight, weirdly, I mean, he's going to be devastated, but there is a little bit of an element that he enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? Because he kind of said yesterday that he's ready to go to war. And he did go to war. Unfortunately, he come out on the poor end. But he did dig in, you know, and he never stopped trying to win, even, like I said, when he didn't have his legs.
Eddie.
Is it going to be difficult to maybe, not necessarily convince him, but talk to him about the other possibilities because he's head body?
Yeah, I think he's always, you know, if you look at his 2 defeats, after the fight, the following day, he never wavered from wanting to take the rematch. I mean, to be honest with you, everyone told us not to fight Alexander Usyk, to just vacate the belt. This isn't the first fight. But the plan and the dream was always to be undisputed, and it was a waste of time vacating a belt. The rematch, everyone said to him, don't take the rematch with Alexander Usyk. And he said, I'm taking the rematch. They also told him not to go straight into the Andy Ruiz rematch, and he won every round in that fight. So this is a fight where, you know, you can see online, whew, you don't want to go back into that rematch. It's dangerous. Dubois is going to be full of confidence. We think that AJ can perform much better, but there will be other options out there for him. But I know that in his head, any fighter will want to avenge a defeat. But it's our job to look commercially at the fights. I just know he's going to want a big fight. I just don't believe he's going to want to come back in February or March and have a run out, you know, Hellenius or Franklin and all these kind of fights. We've done that, and I feel like the next decision will be very important.
Eddie, over here, Eddie.
Not really. I think he's done unbelievable. I mean, I feel like a kid that has come off an estate in Watford to win an Olympic gold medal, a World Championship silver, where he actually got robbed in, a British title, a Commonwealth title, a world title, completely transformed British boxing to a place that we never believed it would ever be. To carry himself in such a way that, you know, just inspires the next generation, that generates grassroots boxing, saved all the gyms in lockdown, invested his own money into the gyms in lockdown, goes to Finchley ABC, stands out there all night talking to the kids, wins a second world heavyweight title, sells out 96,000 at Wembley, trying to win a third world title against a young kid that can really punch and is really dangerous. I mean, this is legacy beyond just Fury and Wilder. For sure, you know, it would have been great to take those fights. But what he has done will never, ever be repeated. Not necessarily in the ring, but the way he's carried himself and the way he's transformed the sport, we're all beneficiaries of it, aren't we? You, me, for sure, Ben, all of us in here. And tonight wouldn't be happening without Anthony Joshua, because we wouldn't have reached this stage. He transformed the heavyweight division in this country. He made stadium fights a thing of the norm. So Anthony's legacy will live on in the gyms. It will live on at Team GB. And it will live on throughout British boxing. So Wilder, Fury, yeah, unlucky. You know, who knows what's going to happen in the future. But it's done. We should be celebrating his achievements. We should be celebrating the fact that he's a bloody good bloke. And he's now proven that he's got a massive set of cojones on him. And he's willing to go out on his shield. And if tonight was the last one, which I don't believe it will be, or if the next one's the last one, let's enjoy it, give him respect, and know that nights like tonight, he's responsible for. And we owe him a huge amount.
Eddie, I'm over here. I've been waiting patiently. Listen, I want to keep it positive, right? Because being ex-fighters, seeing what you've done for boxing the last 10 years and what you've done through Anthony, could you have even imagined at the start of the journey with Anthony that you would have got to these heights? And in your own words, could you explain to us how proud of you are?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Anthony came out of the Olympics. I remember watching Anthony in the final of the Olympics, and I was half thinking, please don't win, because it's going to cost me a fortune if you win this gold medal. And he did, and he came into the office, and I was just fascinated by the way he carried himself. And I thought, wow, we've got a real chance here to have a star that we've never seen before in the sport. And if you look at great fighters like Calzaghe and Naz and Eubank, none of them inspired the younger generation to go and get themselves fit or follow their dreams or start in amateur boxing clubs. There's never been a fighter like that before. And, you know, I remember his debut against Emmanuel Elio. You have to remember that AJ, for so long, was boxing outside of his comfort zone without actually the experience or maybe even the ability to be in those fights. And it's actually, he's evolved as a fighter. And sometimes you come up against different styles that are harder to, you know, to deal with, and tonight may be one of those as well. But like when he was putting it all on the line against Klitschko and these guys, he was just rolling the dice every time. So I'm actually more proud of him tonight than I've probably ever been in his career before. Because when you've got a guy who hasn't got his legs and he's just holding his feet, letting right hands go, and, you know, that moment, and I know it was only 10 seconds, 15 seconds in the 5th round, you know, maybe in my deluded mind, I'm thinking he's going to do it. And this is going to be the greatest comeback I've ever seen. And then disaster, you get caught trading. And it's, but again, you get knocked out like that. When he got knocked out, he was going for the kill to end the fight. He wasn't backing up, trying to cover up, trying to hold, trying to survive. He went out to try and knock out Daniel Dubois and walked onto a right hand. Couldn't be prouder. And gave it everything tonight. And that's fine. And that's why when we talk about the Ruiz defeat, people will never really know about the Ruiz defeat because he'll never talk about it. But the reality is, tonight was one you can take on the chin. Ruiz was one, I can't believe we lost that. Shouldn't have lost that fight. Tonight was like, beaten by the better man, you gave it everything. What a great fight. Sport. So the defeat is never easy, but it softens the blow very slightly. I think I've been talking too much. No one wants to talk anymore. All right, last one, come on.
Obviously, we've spoken about legacy. Do you still believe that one day Anthony will become three-time heavyweight champion?
Yeah, I believe he can beat Daniel Dubois. You know, but he's got to get it right. If he fights like that again, he won't beat Daniel Dubois. If he fights like he should do and can do, he can beat him. But he's going to be fighting a guy with more confidence in Daniel Dubois that is improving as well. So he's up against it. So, you know, I think that at this stage, I know what will be in Anthony's mind. Probably the World Championship. You know, I feel like the World Championship meant a little bit more to him this time around. But I feel like moving forward, it will just be, give me the biggest fights. And then if you get beat again, then you're going to have a tough decision to make. But he'll always want to win the world title, but I think he'll just want the biggest fights that are out there in 2025.
What do you want from him?
Want him to be happy. Said it after the Usyk fight, didn't I? Same thing. And I've seen his happiness turn around a lot, particularly since he started working with Ben. You know, I mean, AJ's always been searching, you know, at GB, improve here, bring this person in, bring this person, move his entire life to America, go with Derek James. Is this going to work? Is this going to work? And who would have thought he'd find solace in Harlow? There's nothing wrong with Harlow. Do you know what I mean? That's only 15 minutes from me, which is fantastic. But he's happy. He's loving his boxing. He's enjoying his life. He loved tonight. He loved the experience. He loved the fight week. He loved being back at Wembley. And I actually think in a weird way, when he looks back, I think he will kind of half have enjoyed the fight in the fact that he was beating his chest saying, come on. You know, because he's never really been in a fight like that before. He's been in loads of different fights, but never really a fight like that. And you don't want to be in too many fights like that. But part of him will go, fucking hell, we went to war last night. And he really did. So I hope he gets the respect that, as I say, when he got chinned, he was trying to close the show and knock out Daniel Dubois. And not many people do that when they've been down 3 times and have no legs. Never stop trying to win.
Okay,
Guys,
thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you
for your
a
attendance.
phenomenal night. Thank you for all your support. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.